It's winter pruning time. Hello and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. We are getting ready to head outside, and there's snow out there, and we're going to do some winter pruning. So before we head outside, let's check the temperature because it seems quite chilly out there today. According to my sane logic, it is 26 degrees outside right now. That's Fahrenheit. And it feels like 27, so I'll take that as a good thing. And the wind's not too bad at the moment. So the only thing that we need to do is worry about staying warm. We don't have to worry about that wind. So let's get suited up and go out and do some pruning in the garden. Now, I don't like to be cold, so we will definitely suit up very well because it's definitely quite chilly. Gotta put my high C boots on. We are ready to do the winter pruning. Nice, brisk, snowy February day. But a perfect day, if I don't slide on this ice, to get some of that pruning done before the weather warms up. Now, I am no expert when it comes to winter pruning, but based on everything that I've read and on everything that I've seen, now's the time to do it. You want to definitely do your pruning before it warms up. If you prune too late, then it can hurt the overall tree. It looks like the tree's like oozing out sap if you do it too late. So you definitely want to do it when it's still wintertime before the buds start coming out and everything on your trees. Now, I have 2 peach trees here. These are dwarf peach trees, so they're not going to get massive. They're going to stay very short. They're on a dwarf root stock. In other words, it has been grafted on a different root, a different type of tree. So what's in the ground is not the same tree that you see here. It's a different root stock. And so these are dwarf trees. They're not going to get really big. These are Reliance peach trees, which is actually a good peach tree for zone 6, Southwest Ohio. Now, everybody wants a Georgia peach, but just because you want a Georgia peach does not necessarily mean those peach trees are best for your area. So remember to keep that into consideration as you're thinking about what type of fruit trees you want to purchase. I purchased these trees in 2022, and so that was like mid-season. 2023 was a full season, and now we're in 2024, and looking at this tree, it looks like we will definitely have peaches this year. So I am going to do very little pruning on this tree this year, and that is intentional because I need to see how the tree is going to do. The only thing that I'm going to worry about removing on this tree are anywhere where limbs are crossing, where it's going to block out sunlight and airflow. When you're dealing with peach tree, you want an open center, which is different depending on what type of trees you're talking about. But for peach trees, you want an open center. And this one honestly does not have the best open center on it, but it's still so young, I'm afraid to do too much on this tree. So I am going to create, as best I can, an open center in this space here. And we're going to do this as quickly as we can because it's way too cold out here. And I definitely want to make sure that I get peaches, so I don't want to mess up. But I hear, you know, you really can't mess up on these trees. So I'm just trying to open up this space just right here to give me that open center that we're going for. Oh, something else that I didn't talk about. You want to make sure that your pruners are clean. And I cleaned my pruners with alcohol before I came out here and got started. Ooh. And I got all of these little bitty branches coming off. And I really want peaches this year, so I'm going to be extra careful. Now maybe you can hear me better. I want to be extra careful because I do not want to lose my chance to get peaches. So we will do very little pruning on this tree just so I can ensure peaches are a given this year. I definitely want peaches. Y'all, it's cold out here. I don't like to be cold. There's so many of these little bitty ones coming off. And I'm no expert, but I want peaches. So do I leave them? I'm going to leave them. We're going to leave them. And if I have too many peaches that start to like bud, I can always thin them out later. I'm definitely going to cut off anything that's coming straight up the center because we definitely don't want that. So I'll cut those off. That's coming straight up, they got to come out. I cannot let them produce. But I'm going to leave as much on the outside as I possibly can. And my tree is already like, I feel like it's growing crooked. I'm heavy on that side. So I'm going to have to find a way to kind of pull it back this way a little bit, or eventually it's going to be so heavy that way that it's going to cause me issues. But that's not for today. It's too cold to do that today. Today, all we're trying to do is clean it up as much as I possibly can, as quickly as I possibly can. All right, let's look at this other tree. And this tree doesn't look that bad. It has an open center the way you want it. It doesn't have a lot of crossing in the center. I'm gonna cut a couple little places and we're gonna move on. I definitely don't need anything down here growing. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna touch because there's not a lot on here and I wanna make sure there's some peaches. Let's move over to the other peach and apple trees. When we're talking about apple trees, apples grow on at least 2-year-old wood is what I've read. And same thing, these are shareable apple trees. They don't get really big, they stay really short. The apple trees are all from Gurney's. And I have a, let's see what we got. We got a Fuji, a Sundance, and a Gala. And most of this wood, most of these limbs came in last year. So would I call this 2-year-old wood? I don't know. Ugh. I know I don't want limbs down next to the ground, so that's a given. I'm going to cut that out for sure. And I really don't want to cut much of this out at all because I want to keep as much as possible. I do have one crossing limb here. I'll cut it. Don't want anything this low. Here's another crossing limb. That's it on this one. Again, I have a very low branch here. You don't want that down there. This one here is going straight up. And I'm leaving the rest of that. I'm leaving it. And then we get over here. And this is really weird because I have the little nodes coming out at the bottom, which tells me that I am going to put on apples down here. But we really didn't want apples on this part. Again, these are on a rootstock as well, which means that it's on a shorter dwarf plant, and then it was grafted on. But I'm going to leave just this one just to see what's going to happen. Now, for apple trees, you don't necessarily want an open center. You want a main leader, which is one going up right up the center, and then kind of fanning out from there. This one has two coming up the center, but I'm only in year 2, so I'm not going to take that out to create a single leader going up this year. I'll wait and do that next year so I can see which one becomes the stronger of the two. This one has more than one coming up the center as well, but I'm only in my second full year, so I'm going to wait to do the center leader piece of this. And I'm sure there's going to be something in the comments saying I'm doing this all wrong, but that's okay. The trees are young, we'll figure it out. I just want some apples this year. I don't see anything going straight up, and there's not that many limbs on this tree, so we're going to leave it for this year. So the apple trees are done, and now we have our blackberry bushes here. For the blackberries, I'm going to cut anything that looks old, like old wood, like it's already had a couple seasons. But I know all of this is new growth from last year. I know it is, but I have to cut it back. Maybe we'll just cut it back to about 2 feet, and maybe we can get a few more growing here. I believe all of this is going to produce. That's an older limb there. These are thornless blackberries that I have over here. Oh, okay, I said I didn't have to worry about the wind. I lied, y'all. Oh no, it's cold out here. It's very cold. All right. Now this is super old wood right here. It's brown. It even feels kind of hollow. So we know that one's done. Nothing's going to grow from that this year. This one's another super brown piece. We know that that's dead. It's not going to do anything. Got to cut that piece back. It's going toward my trees. I definitely need to do a better job this year in containing my blackberries. That's going to be my goal anyway. Let's try to contain them a little better. Today my goal is just to get them cut before I freeze to death. We're not even going to pick this up. It's too cold. We're going to leave it here. And when it warms up in a few days, we'll come back and clean all of this up. We might even put it in the bottom of some of our raised beds. But for now, it's going to stay right here. Before I move to the grapes, I forgot I have this peach tree here. No cleanup required on this tree here. It's a Reliance peach as well. No cleanup needed. Moving on to the grapes. Now, before we get over to the grapes, I do have this space over here. And over here, I had raspberries and I had blackberries last year. Now, I don't think any raspberries are left. I think they died. They're not coming back. They said, I quit. You don't know what you're doing. But the blackberries were very prolific last year. I mean, they were tiny. They were on, I think, 1 euro or 2 euro plants. And these are thornless blackberries as well as what I have over in the other space. And so we're going to give them a quick trim as well. And we're going to cut back anything that's old and brittle. So, because we know if it's brittle and it's old, it's not going to produce any blackberries this year. And again, these were tiny. I didn't get many off of them. I said it was productive. I didn't get many off of them, but it stayed healthy the whole season. They continued to put a couple blackberries on here or there, but it was healthy. Not productive, but rather healthy plants. And we will see if we can keep them healthy again this year. And they look good. They look like they want to come to the party this year. Okay. Not much over here with the blackberries. Now, let's really head over to those grapes. All right, we're over at the grapes. Last year was the first time I ever actually got a harvest on my grapes. So I'm so happy about that. And it was only on one of my grapevines. All of the other grapes I started last year. So we are hoping for a harvest this year. But I need to clean all of this up. I only need to leave a few of these primary, if you want to call it, vines. And I need to cut everything else away. So I have to just decide which ones I want. And I need to cut everything else away. So this is the one that I left last year right here. And so we are going to come off of it with, I think, this one up here this year. I like that one. It's nice and out the way. We're going to take this one off. Here's one that's coming around very low. We will keep it. So I can have grapes at multiple levels. So here's the one that I have coming around low. Even though it's coming around low, it doesn't need to go that far. So this is the one we're going to have come through the middle. So I got one down low. This one actually will be the one that's coming through the middle, but I'll keep this one and this one for now. So I got one down here, this one, and possibly this one would be the middle. This is the one for up high. I did plant grapes over here last year, and it looks like they died. They didn't, oh no. This one made it. So I do have one little vine right here that made it. So maybe we'll get a grape on it and maybe we won't. We will see if we get grapes on that one. That one looks dead. That one looks dead. Let's go over to the other end and see what we got going on over there. But at least we got the big one, the one that we know will produce. At least we know we got that one trimmed back, so it's ready for the season. So as we're looking at this side here, this is just left over from the primary one we just cut. But it's still coming from the same vine. Oh, this is the new one. Okay. Let's clean that up. Here's a new one as well. Don't know if it's going to make this year or not, but I'm going to leave a little bit on just in case. These are supposed to be red as well as green seedless grapes. I don't remember the variety right now, and it's too cold for me to try to look for it. I know this one here was red, and last year I got nothing on it, but it looks like it's trying to come around. Let's see if we can feed it through the end here. Maybe we'll get something off of it. Well, we'll just have to see. Yeah, this is where we're going to call it quits because I'm freezing. But at least we got to the peach trees and the apple trees and the blackberries and this grapevine, which I think I butchered. But that's okay. I'm sure we'll still get grapes this year. If you want to see the proper way to prune, you probably don't want to watch my video. But if you want to see a beginner try her best, that's what this video is all about. We are trying to get ready to get to this outdoor garden. Hopefully the snow will go away. This wet winter weather will leave us alone and we can get ready for spring. So until next time, and I hope there will be a next time that you come back to Kim's Cozy Corner. Bye.